Hello, it is 8 p.m. in Pyongyang. It's 1 p.m. in Damascus. I'm Monita, Rajpal. This is World One, live from London. The body of North Korean leader Kim Jong-il is lying in state in the capital city, Pyongyang, encased in glass, wrapped in red, and surrounded by a field of the red flowers that were named specially for him. His youngest son and apparent successor, Kim Jong-un, paid his respects there a short time ago. So far, there are no signs of instability within the secretive and nuclear-armed nation. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has come out with the closest thing yet to condolences from the United States. She said the U.S. stands ready to help the North Korean people. Now, no one really knows what to expect from North Korea as the leadership enters a period of transition. CNN's chief international correspondent, Christiane Amanpour, has covered the region for a long time. She's here now with us to talk about it. A lot of people have been describing it as a period of instability. Understandable, because at any time when there is a transition, but North Korea is a different case.
It is, and what you mentioned about Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is vital. It is considered of paramount importance, the first words that come out of the U.S. administration, because the North Koreans are so sensitive about the U.S. You know, it's still technically in a state of war. Tested. He's unknown. He's had only 3 years to prepare for succession, whereas Kim Jong-il had about 14 years to prepare under his father, the founder of North Korea. So people are going to be watching very closely.
How much of a transition is it really when we look at the power brokers behind the scenes? Granted, Kim Jong-il he has been described as a cult of personality to himself, but also there had been the military, there had been the others that were behind him as well. They were also calling the shots.
Yes, but you know what? The leadership is in general in sync in North Korea. There aren't factions that play a very significant role.
What would it take for regional players, members of the six-party talks, to take advantage of this opportunity right now to actually engage with North Korea?
Well, as I say, they have to do that. The U.S. and North Korea was, and to an extent, some of the six-party talks. There were talks in New York, talks in Geneva, talks in Beijing.
Is it a softly approach?
Ish. You know, they're trying to sort of move back to this place where they were in 2008. Their father and grandfather had not really lived abroad.
And he's one of the very few North Koreans who have ever seen the outside world. Christiane, thank you very much. Good to have you back.
Thank you, Monita. Good to be back.
Thank you. Well, South Korea has also released a statement about its neighbor to the north. Let's go to Seoul now, and CNN's Anna Korn, who joins us now live with more on that. Anna.
That's exactly right, Monita. South Korea has expressed its sympathies to the North Korean leader, North Korean people, I should say, following the death of Kim Jong-il.
Anna Korn there in Seoul, thank you. Well, he's usually the one who asks the tough questions, but soon Piers Morgan will be the one answering them. The host of CNN's Piers Morgan tonight is about to give testimony to the Leveson inquiry about his tabloid CNN's past. Senior international correspondent Dan Rivers is outside the UK High Court, where the inquiry is underway. Dan.
Thanks. Yes, Piers Morgan, we understand, will give evidence via video link after lunch, about 2 o'clock London time.
Dan, thank you very much. Dan Rivers there, here in London. Well, this is World One, live from London. The Iraqi government has issued an arrest warrant for Vice President Tariq al-Hashimi. The Interior Ministry has released video statements by men it says were the vice president's bodyguards. In them, they confess to carrying out bombings and assassination attempts, saying they were acting on al-Hashimi's orders. CNN could not immediately confirm that the men in the video were his guards. Arwa Damon has more now from Baghdad.
The charges of terrorism leveled against Iraq's Sunni Vice President Tariq al-Hashimi are stemming from 3 confessions.
President of the Philippines, Benigno Aquino, has been visiting communities hit by Typhoon Washi. Mr. Aquino declared a state of national calamity, paving the way for more funds to be released for victims of the typhoon. More now on the forecast for the Philippines. Meteorologist Guillermo Arduino brings us the very latest from the World Weather Center.
I want to start giving you an idea what's going on right now in the Philippines. Of course, you are going to hear a lot of coverage on the situation after the fact. I mean, especially with all the damage, and we're talking about 1,000 people dead.
Guillermo Arduino at the World Weather Center. You are watching World One, live from London. A country that's had strong relations with North Korea is China. Pyongyang relies on China for 90% of its fuel needs and half its food. A large part of that trade flows through Dandong. Stan Grant went to the Chinese border town to gauge reaction to the passing of Kim Jong-il.
Behind me is the bridge linking China and North Korea. As you can see, if you look closely along there, there's been a fairly constant stream of trucks ferrying back and forward across North Korea border.
It could be one of Syria's bloodiest days in 9 troubled months of unrest. Activists say more than 100 people were killed on Monday. All that on the day Syria supposedly made an overture for peace. Activist groups say 48 civilians were killed in violence focused around the flashpoint cities of Daraa and here in Homs. Rima, thank you very much. Rima Maktabi there at CNN Abu Dhabi. Fighting has broken out in Cairo as the battle for control of Tahrir Square enters its 5th day. Doctors say the death count since Friday has now risen to 14. This now from CNN's Mohammed Jamjoon. He joins us now live from Cairo. Mohammed, let's start with this planned million-woman march. What do we know about this?
Well, Monita, women's activists here and protesters have been outraged, as have so many others in Egypt, in reaction to this video.
Well, it could be a very big day for one of the Premier League's overseas stars. Don Riddell's here to explain it all for us.
Thanks very much, Monita. Liverpool's Uruguayan striker Luis Suarez is waiting anxiously on the findings of a Football Association investigation into alleged racial abuse. Suarez...
I bet they're all just really itching just to get on the court.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a long time off.
Yeah. Okay, Donnie, thank you very much for that. You are watching World One live from London. Welcome back. You are watching World One live from London. We are approaching almost 7 a.m. in New York in 10 minutes to 7, almost 1 p.m. in Berlin, and it's almost 9 p.m. in Tokyo. Amnesty International is urging the United Nations to do more to help the safe return of tens of thousands of civilians to their homes in Abyei. It is a troubled region claimed by Sudan and its newly independent neighbor, South Sudan. Amnesty says more than 100,000 people, virtually the entire population, were displaced by violence earlier this year. It's now calling for the UN to investigate what happened in Abyei and to find out how many people have died and who is still missing. We want to get more now on this report from Donatella Rivera. She's a senior crisis response advisor with Amnesty, and she's just returned from Abyei. Donatella, thank you very much for being with us. What did you see?
An extraordinary sight of an area completely empty of the population. Virtually every house has been burned down.
And that's one thing they don't have. And one would assume that because they're in South Sudan, in these camps, South Sudan is still such a new nation that was just only independently formed just months ago. They don't have the resources there to help these people who've been displaced now. And Abyei is a town of just a virtual ghost town now.
Yes, Abyei is completely empty. The people are in South Sudan, where, as you rightly said, there are...
so destroyed. Donatella, thank you very much. We appreciate that. You are watching World One live from London. I'm Monita Rajpal. Thank you for joining us. We'll update you the top stories in just a couple of minutes.